Alrighty, you guys, back on some SLA, and obviously with this video it's more to do with the next character. Look who is on my lobby screen. Shimizu Okari is in the building. This is the next character. She is a part of the solo leveling universe. It is not an original character. If you guys aren't aware, there will be no original character happening up until next year, so everything is going to be within the IP itself. Fantastic. So this is the new character in question. In terms of what typing she's going to be catering to, God knows. We do know that, well, unless things have changed, that Goto Yuruji will be coming in as a water typing, which with where typing is at right now, I think it feels right for water typing to start getting some form of additions, since it's been, well, it's been a hot minute. It's been a while for until Water's gotten their next character. So if Goto Ruji is going to be keeping that promise, then he should be coming in hot, being that character. In terms of what Akara could be doing, I have no clue. I mean, I've been trying to think. I mean, clearly light is out the equation. I mean, fire could technically, because I know that fire, as it has always, well, the fire element has brought some attention to it in terms of people still wanting more fuel to the fire, I guess, pun intended. Maybe even dark, I don't know. Well, what element could she be? Unless they really want to push for the water element. But then again, after this character, when Goto Yuruji does drop a new... So technically speaking, for this remaining month, we either have 3 new hunters, one being Goto Yuruji, or we've got 2, this and then Goto Yuruji. It's one of the 2. But then again, when Goto Yuruji does drop, he comes with a new character. Oh, sorry, when he drops, a new hunter does drop too. Unless I'm tripping. Well, no, it'll be in the same format as how Gon Semi released too. Anyway, let's just dive on in. I'm just overthinking things. Oh my goodness gracious me. Okay, so we do have a little bit of info. So this is early info. This is a build of her on... I don't know how long ago it was, but from what it seems, this is like early build. I feel like for the most part, maybe majority might have changed, maybe it might have stayed the same, but clearly changes will come about. But this gives you kind of like I guess a foundation understanding on what the developers are trying to achieve with this character, right? So first things first, Scales now, wait, what? Oh, sorry, Scales. Right now she's all about attack, but heads up, this info is super old, don't waste resources building gear for her yet. So, they were initially in her early build looking to make her a DPS type character. Interesting. What does DPS... I mean, I wouldn't mind dark DPS. Well, then again, Beast is back in line with Charlotte. Fire element? I don't know. Okay, cool skills. Core and skill, sorry. She slashes down hard, creating sun-powered AoE zones that burn enemies over time. Okay, well that kind of... I think that kind of solves the element that she was, I guess, potentially going in. I don't know if it's going to stay the same or not. On top of dealing damage, she also buffs herself and her team to make everyone stronger. Now, I've actually gone over this, and there's a reason why ESCANOR is there, is because the way this character comes across on paper low-key feels like the solo leveling ESCANOR. Or is ESCANOR? I'm trying to figure out how I can say ESCANOR in a more female way. I don't think I can, but yeah, that's the vibe that I'm personally getting. So yeah, rightfully so, rightfully so. Support. She gives the whole team a special buff that boosts defense, attack, and adds a cool new effect that hasn't been seen before. So some form of uniqueness being added. Makes sense, because of course I assume this will be a bit of a trap banner before Goto Yuruji. So of course they want to trap us in a way to get us to summon, so fair play. Although I know everyone went all in for Thomas, so it'll be interesting to see on how the developers can bounce back by making this character a fantastic character. Who knows? Then the ultimate, she summons a massive sun that lights up the battlefield, giving buffs, shields, and boosting basic stats for everyone in the area. She then finishes it off by a big flashy slash for massive damage. I'm not gonna lie, that ultimate sounds amazing. And to have that massive sun, you guys can clearly see where the ESCANOR vibe really comes into play. Especially when he's got this massive ass axe. I mean, come on now, like, you can't tell me this isn't got like some form of ESCANOR to it for SLA or SL in general. But anyway, passives. Her passives ramp up her ultimate damage, defense, attack, crit stats, and all the usual good stuff to make her an absolute powerhouse. So it seems we might have ourselves a little bit of a fire DPS damage, which I am all for. I am all for. Not to say Suyeon is horrible, but she's still viable, she's still fantastic, but I think if you look at where each element is at, and if you look at their DPS, Suyeon is just slightly behind compared to Dark, Wind, Light, even Water. So I think by the looks of it on paper, I mean again, this is early build, but if this is the route that they're looking for to take in her, the end result can only be something insane, especially when you're dead in the middle of two hype parts of SLA, right? Half anniversary and then the winter content, right? You're dead in the middle, right? So they have to make her, or they have to push that incentive to be like, yeah, she's gonna be summon worthy, and I think for the best bet, if they are gonna drop a DPS, Fire Element in my eyes will catch a lot of people off. Because Fire Element right now is a bit of a hot topic on people actually wanting more firepower, pun intended. Now, if I'm being completely honest, looking at the Fire Element team, if they choose to keep the whole sun, where it provides a big area of buffing, I don't know, what do you guys think about making her into a tank? Is that what she... I mean, not to say that Emma's horrible, but like... I feel like with where the game is going, with where it's at, I don't know. Is Emma still performing for you guys? I mean, well, no, she technically is. Now, Emma's still doing her thing. I can't deny that. She's still like, for a day one character, she is rocking. I don't know, maybe a full because I know Gina has come across as fairly mid, and that's kind of understandable. I mean, they did try their best. I mean, then again, it is something rather than nothing. But the way they kind of went around with Gina, I think it's fair to say that, you know, with her. Somewhere down the line, if they want to redo a fire support character, I'm all for that. No disrespect to Gina, I'm just, you know, compared to the others and what we've seen with the other elements, Gina just doesn't hold that type of performance compared to the others. But yeah, I think Fire Element would be the best choice, the wisest choice in my personal opinion, and then that resets it back to Water Element with Goto Ryuji, and then we go again for 2025. I think that is the best route. I think for me personally, if they keep up the whole sun buffs and given her DPS power, I would not be opposed for something like on the level of Go. Because here's the thing, Go's a fantastic tank, right? He's a fantastic breaker. But at the same time, this man possesses power. I would not mind her to be somewhat something like Go, to be honest. Like a tank sub DPS, I'll be all for that, personally. That or just go full on with the DPS, because again, I understand that with Fire Element DPS, it is something that... even before, well no, even after Suyeon, it wasn't even recent, but like even beforehand, people were still requesting some more fire DPS for, yeah. Although, you know, again, with the concept of how she can get guaranteed fire element over, or effectiveness over the enemy through her second skill, that's power. Imagine if they actually did something like that. Like across the board, that would be ridiculous. Imagine a character where it's just like everything they do is just to guarantee effectiveness. Christ on a bike, that would be pretty insane. But anyway, boys, that is all that we know of. Again, the information that we have is early. But to kind of see the idea on what the developers are going with gives you like a good understanding and a good idea on the direction that she could potentially go. So clearly, something for the fire element, something more on the DPS line. Amazing amount of buffing on the offensiveness. That's kind of what we've got so far. It'll be interesting to see on what the final outcome will be. For the most part, I do hope they kind of keep that same path for her. For me personally, I think that's kind of what I want in next in terms of where the characters that we have, the elements that we're rocking with. I think that's what I want next. And then again, going back to Water Element, they can reset that back when Goto Ryuji drops, and then we'll go from there. But that's a little bit of info. We got ourselves a bit of a female ESCANOR in the works. Let them cook, and we'll see how ESCANOR turns out in solo leveling.